Is,
Good morning,
is my voice clearly heard by the participant? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad today as your moderator, and I would like to know whether all the participants already available in this panel room. Let me read the name. Dr. Umi Oktiari Retnaningsih. Is she available? Okay. Thank you, Miss. And then Irza Purun in. Oh, yes.
Okay, yes, thank you.
There you are. Okay. Then Mr. Mukhtar Mabudin and Rizqi Bachtiar. Mr. Mukhtar Mabudin and Rizqi Bachtiar. Are they available? Not yet, maybe still in the process of joining. And then Nuzul Solehah, Patwa Nurul Hakim. Are they available? And the last, Angga Unita Kirantika. Angga Unita Kirantika, is he available? Okay, maybe still in the process of joining of the group. Okay, before we start the panel session, let me introduce myself. My name is Faisal Eriza from the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Sumatera Utara, Medan. So say hello from Medan for us, for everyone. And today, I'm very glad to be your moderator, and let me read the rule of the game. Yeah, the first, every participants, every speakers is given 10 minutes to present the topics that you will bring, and then 5 minutes for question and answer session. And then, is it clear for the rule? Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And our theme for today is reconfiguring gender and intersectionality, which is a very hot issue in achieving sustainable development goals. Well, without waiting too long, let us start with the first speaker. Please welcome Dr. Umi Oktiari Retnaningsih with the title Gender Mainstreaming and Sustainability for Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil Certificate. Okay, the screen is yours, Ms. Umi.
Can you help me to perform my skill? Okay. Thank you very much for the time. And here I pick up my title, Gender Mainstreaming and Sustainability for Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, or RSPO certificate. And actually here I have other 5 members, but I represent them for this presentation. Okay, next please. Next please. Next please. Lanjut Pak, lanjut. Lanjut Pak, tolong. Okay. Why this topic is really interesting? Since Indonesia is the largest palm oil plantation and industry in the world, that's in the world. And Rio, where I live for, we have 21% areas. And this is the fastest or the largest. No. The second one, I'm not finished yet. Sebelum ini Pak. Sebelum ini. Come on. The second one. Pak, halaman 2, Pak. Not this one.
It's not me.
Belum. Yang 2, Pak. 2, Pak. No. Halaman 2, Pak. Before that one. Oh my God.
Okay.
Introduction. On the introduction. Pak, halaman 2. Pak. Halaman 2.
Who
Pak.
helps Miss Umi?
I need my page 2. Halaman 2, Pak. Yang
Hello, the committee, please help Miss Umi. Hello?
Committee, help me please. So I cannot run out of my time.
Yeah, it's coming, Bu. It's coming shortly.
Okay.
Don't come. That's technical.
Okay.
For my time.
Okay.
Okay, that one. Okay, good. Then I need the okay, this one. And you know that from the palm oil plantation and industry, it can produce on, we can have like foreign exchange quite a lot. It's like 320.5 trillion just in a year of 2021 in the pandemic era. And it absorbed like 545 million human power. And there are many, the number of women surpasses the number of men, but mostly of them are in the low level or in the employee level, not in the staff level. Okay, next please. Next please. Next please. Halaman berikut. Halaman berikut.
Hello, committee, please help Miss Umi.
Committee. Please.
Yeah, Bu, I think we've got a
list
over your presentation, and we will show it up without using a white screen. So please wait for a minute.
Okay. I stop counting the time because it is a technical problem.
Sure, but sure.
Actually, I enjoy the picture of palm oil, you know.
Oh, in Riau. Have you been to Riau, Mr. Tohari?
Belum, Pak, belum pernah.
Okay. Even in Medan, in Sumatra, yeah, full of palm oil plantation. But it becomes hot, yeah, because of the palm oil plantation. Okay. Okay, assistant, can Miss Umi continue?
Okay, please. Page 3, please.
Page 3.
Yeah, page 3, please. Sorry for the inconvenience because I cannot share my document from my laptop. That's why I asked the committee to help me.
Okay, it's okay, Miss.
Okay, good. And then I want for go to page 3. Let's see. Next, please. Next. Okay. Oh no. Before this one.
Before. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The reason why this topic is it's gonna be interesting to be researched because of them we suffer from critics and even boycott because of the sustainability issues. So we got like critics or boycott from European Union. That is really potential market, and then from the USA, but mostly from the EU or European Union. But the issue of sustainability can be solved with what? With roundtable sustainable palm oil certificate. So far, if we have RSPO certificate, then it's going to be good. What RSPO certificate said that we have to comply with women empowerment. For what? To improve women development, employment conditions such as conducive work, environment, corporate citizen means the employee become happy and peace, and then higher productivity. One thing from the indicator of RSPO certificate is the corporate has gender committee and women community. Then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna research how they respond about gender committee. Next, please. Next, please. That's why my research question is, how female students of agro-technology and agribusiness aware and have knowledge of RSPO? Because in Riau University of Riau, I am a teacher there. We have like agriculture faculty. And the second one, how corporation, auditors, and consultants respond of RSPO certification. That's two of my research. Next, please. Next, please. And the methodology to find out my research is mixed method of qualitative and quantitative. For qualitative, I did in-depth interview and observation, and time of and the place is June, July, August 2021, and the place is multinational corporation, state-owned corporation, and local campus. And my participant is general manager, head of gender committee, RSPO auditor, and female student. Next, please. Next, please. Lanjut. Lanjut. My finding said that even though palm oil plantation is like really famous and produce a lot of money here, but student familiarity is really low. It's really not good. When I ask about information about RSPO, they say, I don't know exactly. It's just a certificate. Or 7 students said it should be achieved by palm oil producer. That's it. And when I asked them whether they have like a subject teaching in the class, yes, they have that subject about business ethic or business practices. When I said, did you learn about RSPO? Yes, but I forgot. Then female students say, I forgot. Totally, I forgot. And then 7 say, yes. Oh, I just remember some. And only 3, yes, I understand it. That's the finding from a student understanding and awareness. Next, please. Next, please. Lanjut. Oh, no. Pak, sebelumnya. And for the gender committee, they just did what we call legalistic institutional approach. They just have the committee and the structure. They have supervisor, manager, the head of committee, vice head of committee, secretary, and there are like several subdivisions for socialization, complaint, protection, counseling. But when I asked to the head of like a committee, gender committee, they said, I don't know about gender. And what their activities is just like posyandu. When I asked whether they involved in the decision-making process, no. Whether they have training, no. That is just like they have what we call the structure. That's why I said legalistic institutional approach is just superficial. Next, please. Pak Faisal, next, please. That's my question. Yes, the gender committee led by a women staff. Yes, comply. But when I ask whether they have ample budget, no, they just have very limited budget. How can an organization or institution can run well without enough budget. What about power or authority and decision making? No, it's really rare for them to be involved in the decision making process. Communication with labor union, NGO, or government is rare, very rare. And even the FEV1, socialization, complaint protection, and counseling, very rare. Next, please.
You have 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Next, please. And for women community, the corporation must provide safe place to complain of sexual harassment. They don't have unavailability of trustworthy person, you know. I don't think that I will express or share my problem for sexual harassment or other problem or my domestic conflict with untrustworthy person. It must have what we call psycholog, but I don't think they have. Problem solving and sharing for wellness, not just informal, like Rumpi. And community development through education, cooperation, entrepreneurship, and help. It's just traditional, like through arisan. That is really superficial. Next, please. Next, Pak. And here I'm going to say the Solon, what it said in the statute and statuta and regulation, and what really practice or happen. The corporation has to provide personal protective equipment design and affiliate. It's good. Childcare and sanitation, caregivers, nurse facilities is only for Indonesian standard. Because for the Western standard, they must have nurse. They must have psychiater. They must have like many things, but it's just Indonesian standard, just a building and like 1 or 2 caregivers, like 3 rooms, that's enough. That's Indonesian standard. Lactation room, at the time not available, parent and cat sleep separately as well as daughter and son, not available. This is Indonesia. In the corporation, they just a very small house. It's just only 2 rooms, not enough. Toilets and the field, toilet di kebun, no. They can like do pee or under the tree. Okay, next please. Next please. And then my conclusion that actually women empowering with gender committee is just legalistic institutions or superficial. That's it. So far they have, you already comply with RSPO. That's Indonesian thing. Because if we have like the real thing, like the Western ideal, it costs money. I don't think that even the multinational corporation can provide it. It costs a lot of money. And then low awareness of women empowerment by female student, auditor, and consultant. The consultant said that, aduh, nggak usah repot-repot lah, that's enough. That's why we have to be tolerant. This is Indonesia. And standard for RSPO must be Indonesian culture, not Western. Western is too demanding. It's not comply with Indonesian culture. And my recommendation is, actually, yes, we have to do what we call responsive gender policies and practices in farm implementation and industry. Yes. And RSPO certification mandatory. It's mandatory to all corporations for economic and social advantages. Because if the corporation has RSPO, it can beneficial economically because the price will increase $7.5 US dollar per ton. And then for economic, it's going to be prestigious for Indonesia. I think that's enough. And thank you. I hope that I can have like several questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Umi, for the presentation. Well, okay, it's about 10 minutes, yeah. Thank you very much. Now we are going to have a questions and answer season. I invite all the participants to raise hands for asking Ms. Umi some questions about his presentation. Please.
Faisal, I am she. I am her, not his.
Oh yeah. For her question, her presentations. I'm sorry, it's about gender. Okay, okay. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, please, everyone here, I invite all the participants to ask some questions to Miss Umi Retnaningsi about his study.
I'm Mrs.
For her study.
I'm Mrs.
Mrs.
Yeah, I have like
Okay.
one daughter.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You look like very young and teenager for me. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Is there any questions for Mrs. Umi? Yeah. Yeah, according to Mrs. Umi, that the empowering women, in the plantation organization is just a formality.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's not effective yet. Yeah, it's just a symbol. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like superficial, like in Indonesia.
Superficial. Yeah.
Just have the name and label. That's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
The unity.
Okay, but the member maybe do not have any advantage, about the existence of this organization.
I mean, it has advantages, but it's really costly.
Costly, yeah.
Yeah, it's costly. That's the reason.
Okay, everyone. Okay, it's enough. Enough. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Umi Retnaningsi. Let's give her virtual applause. Okay, thank you.
It seems that it's freezing. What happened?
Yeah. We are going to continue to the second speaker. It will be the turn for the Miss Irza Kurunin, Genta Mahardika Rosalina, and Kartika Putri. And then the title is about COVID-19 multidimensional poverty and semi-urban women's resilience in Malang City, East Java. Okay, you have 5 minutes for presenting and 10 minutes for presenting and 5 minutes for question and answer session. Okay, the screen is yours, Miss Irja.
Thank you, Mr. Rizal, for the opportunity. I will share screen. And yes, first, let me introduce myself. My name is Irza, and I'm a lecturer in International Relations Department, FISIP Universitas Brawijaya. And this paper was developed by our team, Genta Mahardika from Sociology FISIP Universitas Brawijaya, and also Kartika Putri from Faculty of Administrative Sciences Universitas Brawijaya. And yes, the title is COVID-19 Multidimensional Poverty and Semi-Urban Women's Resilience in Malang City, East Java. Yes, for the introduction is this COVID-19 pandemic has an impact on increasing the number of poor people in Malang City, and women experience a double or even triple impact. Those are economics, social, and psychological shocks due to change in the situations. For instance, the situation make the boundaries become blur between home as a place to live or office and school as a public space, they can disappear and the boundaries become blur with the necessity to work from home or to school from home. That is just one example. The other example is many industry have to lay off many employees. For example, a restaurant, a cafe, due to the pandemic and due to the policies that government. Sorry. Okay. And this is important to analyze the poverty and resilience of women in the time of COVID, how they adapt with this condition. In this 2020, there is 3,380 new poor people in Malang. Actually, this is the small number because Malang is the second lowest poverty rate among cities in East Java, and Malang is the second lowest poverty rate after Batu City. So it needs analyze how Malang City has, we can say, good result in holding down the poverty rate. So yes, and the aims of this research is to explore multidimensional poverty index in Malang City and to explore resilience index in Malang City. This rate, this one is this rate calculated using income outcome rate as BPS calculation. So we need to understand how about we look deeper from the multidimensional perspective. So in this research, we use this one, multidimensional poverty index by Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiatives, OPHI, in calculating multidimensional poverty. And the poverty from the Amartya Sen is one of the major sources of unfreedom. And poverty can involve not only the absence of necessities, but also the negation of possibilities of living in decent life. And the multidimensional poverty is the way to analyze poverty using many perspectives. And the women resilience is the capacity of women in complex socio-ecological system to learn, cope, adapt, and transform in the face of shocks. So where there is a shocks or stress, how they adapt, how they bouncing back the condition. This is resilience. And within these communities, gender and socio-cultural norms often dictate who has access to resource, who has access to economic, who has access to the market, and who can participate in household and community decision making. So we need to calculate the women's resilience. Methodology quantitative method, and we use the multidimensional poverty index. The calculation, use 10 indicators: nutrition, child life expectancy, years of schooling, school attendance, cooking fuel, sanitation, water, electricity, floor, and asset, according to OPHI. And the resilience index, those are household decision-making, community participation, market linkage, and social institutional capacity with 4 indicators. Measured indicators 0 up to 1 Goodman scale. And this is the result of these results for the multidimensional poverty index, same as BPS, that Kota Malang City has the low index of poverty rate. Excuse me. Yes, the multidimensional head count ratio or age is 0.1 and the intensity is 0.4 and the MPI is 0.0574. The MPI range from 1 to 0, and higher value implies higher poverty. So this index is the low index poverty in Malang using BPS. But in the BPS also only measure the outcome and income rate. And this research, we can see the worst dimension is health dimension in Malang City. To identify the multidimensional poverty, there is at least 7 steps. The first, identify the dimension. The second, calculate weight percentage of each dimension. The third, determine the cut-off level of poverty. And the fourth, find the deprivation rate. And the fifth, we find the multidimensional headcount ratio. And sixth, we find the intensity, how deep the deprivation rate. And the seventh, we find the MPI by using formula multidimensional headcount ratio multiplied with intensity. And we use 114 respondents. All respondents are women in Malang City, especially in Lowak Waru sub-district. And for just information, Indonesia had statistically significant decreases in the percentage of people who were multidimensional poor from the data from 2012 up to 2017. The newest data in Indonesia is in 2017 for Indonesia as a whole. So this index is only for Malang City. Then Women's Resilience Index. Women's Resilience Index uses for indicators. Those are household decision making, community participation, market linkage, and social and institutional capacity. For the calculation method using NRR terhitung or calculated average value. The highest value is decision making in the household. This is the highest value from the indicator of Women's Resilience Index, as the lowest value is the capacity, social capacity and social and institutional capacity. I mean, from this diagram, we can make many policies about how to make women more to increase the social and institutional capacity, using to support them in organizational, in market, and so on. And the conclusion of this research is there is a relation between women's resilience and poverty, and the lower of poverty rate in women's household, the higher tendency of women's resilience. However, policy targets are needed to further enhance women's resilience, especially regarding to the social and institutional capacities of women. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Irza Kurunin, for the nice presentation. Okay, now we have 5 minutes for discussion. Please raise your hand. Okay, we have a question from Mr. Didit. Yeah, in this research, how is the resilience method of women groups in the context of poverty dimension in Malang during this pandemic COVID-19?
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Irza,
okay,
can you read?
Pola resiliensi kelompok perempuan dalam konteks pola resilience type. I mean, okay, pola resiliensi kelompok perempuan dalam dimensi kemiskinan. Okay, thank you from me, Mr. Didit.
Okay.
Yes, this is interesting questions. The resilience type, and maybe I will share my screen. Again, we can see the market, how women have access to market, access economy, access to market. it's still low actually, only 50. I mean, yes, sangat apa ya? Maksudnya not very low, but
limited.
Limited. So it's indicate they have encouraged to they should encourage themselves to make apa namanya, to make independence in economic sector. And the type of their resilience is they use WhatsApp group to sell many things. Actually, they can make bread, they can make ayam bakar. So they sell through WhatsApp group. Usually in every RT, rukun tetangga, they have WhatsApp group among ibu-ibu, among women in rukun tetangga have WhatsApp group. So they daily sell many things. Then this is also interesting because from 114 women that our respondent, only 20 or 30% that their job is formal job. For example, PNS, karyawan, and selebihnya itu informal jobs.
Or housewife only, ya?
Housewife only or ini Pak Faisal, apa
informal
namanya?
Sector.
Informal sectors that I said before, they only sell many things through a WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Irza. Okay, now we have also the next questions from Ms. Umi. What type of decision making did the women have, since it has a higher score?
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Very good.
Mrs. Umi. Actually, in our first hypothesis, not to expect this number up to 75.70 and 70. But this is their question about how they determine when they should buy motorcycle, when did they should buy television, when did they should buy, when did they should make loan from bank, from KPR, from their family, from their friends, from PKK. This is the decision making, and when they need to sell their asset, usually most of them said this decision making process taken between women and men, between wife and husband. So another question is about how when we need to the one question that have the low answer in these indicators is how when the wife need to have a job in other countries or in other kecamatan, even apa namanya difference kecamatan itu apa namanya indeksnya lebih tinggi ke husband gitu, apa keputusannya
depends on the husband.
Yes, depend on the husband. This is if the question is gimana kalau misalnya saya kerja ke luar kota, gimana kalau misalnya saya kerja ke luar kecamatan, itu depend on her husband.
The husband's permission, ya. But the independency of the women's decisions here is relatively high, ya, Ms. Irza.
Yeah. In decision making process.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Irza, for the answer. Is there any more questions? Okay, that sounds a really nice presentation and study, yeah, helped by Miss Irza and friends, yeah.
Thank
It seems
you.
to me that women in Indonesia, if the situations like in Malang, wow, I can say Indonesia become a great country later. Okay, thank you, Miss Irza. Maybe you have a closing statement?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Faisal. I think this study have to be broaden and wider areas, because this is only Malang and this is only 114 respondent. I hope it can be wider and broader and larger respondent for calculate this women's resilience and how this women's resilience can give impact in holding down the poverty rate in East Java and also in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Irza. Okay, so hopefully that women's role in the future is getting advanced and higher, especially in national scope. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Irza. We go on to the next speaker by Mr. Mukhtar Habudin and Mr. Rizqi Bachtiar. And the title is Women in Local Level Power. Okay, please welcome Mr. Mukhtar Habudin and Rizqi Bachtiar. Are they available here?
I think there is not here.
No.
Mr.
Oh, the topic is really interesting here.
Yes,
Women in local level power. Okay. Committee, how about it? We go on to the next speaker.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
There he is.
Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to speak in front of you all. I'm Rizqi Bachtiar from Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Universitas Brawijaya. On behalf of my colleague, Mr. Mukhtar Habudin, I would like to present our paper entitled Women in Local Level Power. This research has some backgrounds. The first, the presence of women in power is an important part of democratic governance, as mentioned by Robert Dahl. The second, women in power are increasingly interesting to study, along with the practice of direct democracy. In the context of Indonesia, regional head election, well known as Pilkada, provide enough space for women to compete as regional heads, as regents, or as mayors. However, there are few number of women elected as governors in Indonesia. Sorry to say, it's just 1 out of 35 provinces. Based on those backgrounds, our research question is, how is the existence of women in power at the local level? About theoretical framework, we use this Schumpeter ideas about democracy, which has two big values, namely participation, and secondly, it's all about competition. This research is about desk-based research. Okay, we move on to the result and discussion. In this part, we can see that participation of women as local leaders in 2020 local level elections. So it's quite new, and we can see that male dominance over 3 different local level elections. Almost the same number, the winning percentage for women is also low. Women's electability in local elections is getting lower in the last 3 periods of time, 2015, 2017, and lastly 2018. In East Java context, we can see there are so many losses, women that trying to win local elections. However, in this part, we can see also the women victory proves that women can compete in the local elections. Based on those data, we can explain that the low electability of women in the Pilkada is the failure of the state, of the government to ensure women actively involved in the circle of power. It also shows that dynastic politics work in the local election. Especially, we can look at the case in Batu City and Banyuwangi Regency by encouraging their wives in the local elections. This method is a strategy in maintaining family power. As a conclusion, Pilkada has provided opportunity for women to pursue careers as governors, mayors, and regents. However, the winning rate is still low. There is a dynastic politics in order to hold the power, and we recommended that the state should be able to do two important things to increase the involvement of women in power. First, the state must enforce the guarantee of the regulation, and second, assisting the role of women in power. I think it's all. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Rizqi Bachtiar. Very nice presentations. It's about women in the local level power. Yeah, we see that the governor of East Java, yeah, Mrs. Kopipah, yeah, become the only governor, women governor in Indonesia. Yeah, maybe I would like to ask you, Mr. Rizqi, is the vice head of can say head of regions also become your target of research? I mean the vice governor, vice region, vice mayor. Hello, Mr. Rizqi.
Mr. Faisal, I think the presentation of Mas Rizqi is video recording.
Oh, video recording. Okay. Okay. Now, yes, very nice. Yeah, about the topics. Yeah, women in the local level power. So we still see the small number of women of Indonesian women, yeah, to be a local leader. Yeah, hopefully by empowering the women and also with a good political education, the women can have more access, yeah, for the local level power, and even we have women president, yeah, previous women president, President Megawati Soekarno Putri, yeah. But I hope this is not only the one and only. Maybe in the future we will have more president, more governor, more regions, more mayors of the women. Thank you very much, Mr. Rizqi. Thank you very much, the committee. I do not know that this is recorded. Okay, we go on with the next presenter. It will be the turn of Ms. Nuzul Soleha and Fatwa Nurul Hakim. And the topic is about women's participation in fulfillment of household need through e-warung, Kube PKH, a qualitative study in Banjar. Okay. Are they available here?
Yes, sir. I already
just
sent
recording?
presentation video.
Oh, okay. Okay, the screen is yours. You have 10 minutes for presenting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you in these precious opportunities. I would like to present our paper about women's participation and fulfillment of household needs through a warung kebinekaan. It's a qualitative study in Banjar City. Before we go to the presentation, I would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Nuzul Solika, and my partner is Fatwa Hakim. We are from Research Center of Social Ministry Affairs of Indonesia. The research background begins with the efforts to eradicate hunger and gender inequality are two important goals that are included in the Sustainable Development Goals. So a warung kebinekaan or electronic shop with mutual cooperation joint business group for the Family Help Program is one of the government programs through the Ministry of Social Affairs launched by President in 2016. The background of the establishment of this program is to realize digital-based, inclusive, national and financial. So a warung applies work management system in mutual cooperation by involving women with a mutually agreed division of labor. The position of women as treasures of the family makes them have to be more innovative. Therefore, these family treasures must arrange strategies in order to meet their household needs. One of their ways to care for their families is by joining a warung program. So this participatory culture should be converted by women into other forms of capital to support family needs, one of which is to meet food needs through the provision of food commodities and the ability to buy them. So a warung kebinekaan members are women from poor families. So time is very important asset for them to convert into money through other forms of side job. Therefore, the ability to divide the time into an important skill for them. We choose a warung in Banjar because they can survive through financial management with a profit allocation systems are follows: 60% for capital development, 30% distributed to administrator or managers, and 10% for social funds. The social funds is important in this study. So we try to address two questions here. First is, in which ways are women manage a warung kebinekaan as a jointly managed asset? And the second one is how they can meet their household needs through this activity. We used concept of gotong royong tradition proposed by John Bowen. According to John Bowen and Abdullah, gotong royong can be an important foundation in mobilizing manpower and funds in a development process. This verb comes from Japanese ngotong or ngagotong in Sundanese, meaning several people carrying something together, thus the pleasantly rhyming royong. So Bowen makes a three-way distinction among bases for collective work as the various forms of labor involved in collective work. The first one is labor mobilized as a direct exchange. The second one is generalized reciprocal assistance. And the third one is labor mobilized on the basis of political status. So we adapt a definition of gotong royong as image of social relation and traditional, smoothly working, harmonious, self-enclosed village on Java, where labor is accomplished through reciprocal exchange. Villagers are motivated by a general ethos of selfishness and concern for common good. But here, we see that form of gotong royong is not only a form of social relation between rural or village communities, because the boundaries between rural and urban have recently become increasingly blurred. So this study will shed a light on gotong royong as a jointly managed asset and business, a struggle to have with a voluntary and reciprocity of everyone involved. In this study, we see that it's not as that voluntary, because the woman of this study is still manage income with their systems, with their own system, but it's still they still bound in social relations. We go to methods and data collection. The study used qualitative method with a descriptive approach. And this research was conducted to find out the participation of women in ensuring food needs are fulfilled through a warung. Experience of research subjects around implementation of women's participation in managing a warung. So this research located in the city of Banjar, West Java, because the city management of a warung is collectively carried out by women, and they have an innovative strategy here. And this research conducted in October 2019, before we hit by pandemic COVID-19. We collected data from 5 warung BPKH groups in different sub-districts in Banjar City, including warung BPKH Jaya Laksana, Gemaripa, Mekar Harapan, Sangkuriang, and Pataruman. So the subject of this research is 50 warung actors, which includes the chairperson, secretary, members, and beneficiary families. Data collection was done by interview and observation. The data was collected through mobile phone in the form of recorded interviews and for the documentation of activities. We also supplement data with secondary source. And the data analysis technique used in the study refers to the opinion of Sugiono, namely data redaction, data display, and conclusion driving and verification. So we go to the results and discussions here. The informal characteristics of the study are 50 women with an age range of 21 till 50 years, perhaps at 88%, and more than 50 years, perhaps 12%, who are members of A1 BPKH organizers. So the socioeconomic background of these women who are not observed in the formal employment sector, where 65% of them are housewives and 30% work as temporary workers. 90% of them have a monthly income below 1 million rupiah. This means they only earn about 30,000 rupiah in a day, and they must fulfill their household needs with this income. So they converting labor and spare time. Referring to Bowen's opinion that gotong royong is synonymous with voluntary work without wage, this condition is not fully experienced by women in managing a warung. They try to convert their labor and time into income through a system of shopkeepers taking turns in their spare time. Apart from being a place for distributing BPNT or subsidies, a warung also plays a role in accommodating and channeling local potential in the form of food resources. For example, to accommodate livestock products, communities, drugs, and processed products with family system, so that a warung can be an embryo for socio-economic relation of the community to be established. Below is a description of a warung finance management. So there are 5 different warung here. With this capital increase, it's not homogeneous here. It depends on capital increase. So with this capital increase, they allocate profit for 60% for capital development, 30% for management, 10% for social funding. The social funding is really important here because it could create social relations and social bonding here. Warung members can earning income per month with these nominals, with this management schedule. So time is really important here because with their spare time, they can convert, become other form of side jobs here. So this is the management system of a warung. With this condition, they have reliable filing and administrative skills. The joint ownership scheme of assets and capital makes them more careful in noted every goods expenditure, transactions, and noted debt in an orderly manner. In addition to having the convenience of account borrowing basic necessities or in-depth scheme with a clear agreement, a warung also has a social fund scheme obtained from profit allocation around 10 till 20% of profit allocation. We go to women's ability to meet their household needs and the challenge. A warung not only serves as a place for distributing PPAT or subsidies, but also as a market for women to distribute household food products such as traditional foods, snacks, crackers, chips, and the others. So the picture is one of the examples of their food products. It's a traditional food. Each manager and member can entrust their products with the agreed agreement here. With an average income of under 1 million per month, making it difficult for a woman as a family teachers to meet household needs. But what these women do is mark the moment, or they mark the time and turn it into an opportunity. So with this condition, women have the resilience and ability to see opportunities and survive in difficult situations. Resilience has been variously defined as the capability of an individual to bounce back after experiencing adversity. So, but they also have a challenge here. Weakness in IT, in information and technology use, and business model development. They're still weak in here. So if they only rely on income from keeping the warung retail shop in shift alternately, their welfare cannot be said to have increasingly significant. Therefore, it is necessary to do business development and solution from these existing groups. So we go to conclusion. Women organize themselves through the mechanism of gotong royong in maintaining the warung BPKH with various kinds of innovations. They learn to convert their spare time into another forms of capital, maintaining social relations through social bonds. And these women are also widen their social network through a warung BPKH. With a relatively low non-fixed income, these women can still provide their household needs. And social funds that being the administrators can also run according to their functions. This indicates that there is mutual trust here, because trust is really important in social relations. So with our studies, we have several recommendations. Therefore, the recommendations from the study are addressed to relevant stakeholders to be able to accommodate, provide skills training, and bridge the group with relevant social CSR programs in each region. Thus, empowerment is a form of a development that can be carried out by cross-actors. So it can be government or companies or both of them. So that the meaning of mutual assistance or gotong royong does not only become village-centric, but also penetrates development of the urban context, like the condition we face now. So there are my presentation, and thank you for your attention. I hope we can see in the next change. Hopefully you are blessed in health condition in this difficult time. So good morning and goodbye.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nuzul Soleha. Because Ms. Nuzul is already available here, then we can have question and answers. Yes, first, maybe I would like to give the opportunity to Ms. Parinia Puradamaya. Okay, you have raised your hands. And then after that, Ms. Umi. Mrs. Umi, ya. Okay.
Terima kasih Pak Faisal. Saya pakai bahasa Indonesia saja biar lancar. Menarik sekali mengenai iwarong ini ya, iwarung ya, dan terkait dengan perempuan. Mungkin ini bukan pertanyaan atau bagaimana ya, saya juga sedikit kritik terhadap bukan pada penelitiannya tapi terhadap konsep PKH dan kebijakan-kebijakan yang mengikutinya. Adanya PKH yang kemudian diimplementasikan di dalam penelitian ini, misalnya dengan e-warung tersebut, saya pikir ini tentu masih sangat sumir ya pendapatnya ya. Saya pikir justru ya memang ini paradoks ya, paradoks dalam artian di satu sisi kita ingin perempuan itu misalnya semakin berdaya, gitu ya, perempuan atau dalam hal ini ibu rumah tangga atau ibu-ibu pekerja non formal gitu. Ingin mereka lebih berdaya dengan adanya kebijakan atau aktivitas seperti ini. Tetapi saya melihat di sisi lain dengan adanya hal seperti ini justru membuat perempuan semakin tidak terpisahkan atau semakin dibebankan tanggung jawab dengan persoalan household tadi gitu. Jadi urusan warung, urusan belanja, urusan masak, ya perempuan. Ya, di satu sisi kita memang menyambut baik. Berarti perempuan ini tadi seperti di conclusion kan bisa menambah income mereka dengan yang tadi jualan food, snacks dan sebagainya, menambah income keluarga, menambah social networking mereka. Tapi ya saya juga melihat bahwa di satu sisi ini semakin menjustifikasi bahwa urusan ini adalah urusan perempuan. Jadi pelibatan laki-laki justru semakin minim. Nah, ini paradoksnya sih saya melihat di situ. Mungkin bisa saja kita memberikan masukan terhadap kebijakan seperti ini bisa dilakukan dengan warung dan sebagainya itu tetap berjalan, tetapi misalnya ada satu waktu, misalkan hari Minggu khusus untuk yang belanja laki-laki, khusus yang jualan bapak-bapak, agar laki-laki juga merasakan keterlibatan gitu. Jadi tidak hanya dibebankan pada perempuan, karena indikasi saya hal ini justru ya semakin mendomestikasi perempuan begitu. Walaupun niatnya sangat baik tentu ya kebijakan semacam ini, tapi di satu sisi saya khawatir dampaknya akan seperti itu. Laki-laki semakin lepas tanggung jawab ya. Kayak PKH yang ngantri ibu-ibu semua gitu ya. Saya ngelihat yang ngantri ngambil duit ibu-ibu semua. Laki-lakinya mana? Seakan-akan itu tanggung jawab perempuan belaka gitu. Mungkin ini bisa sebagai tambahan masukan gitu ya. Terima kasih.
Yeah, thank you Miss Parinia Pura Damayanti ya for the suggestions. I think it's noted ya. Okay, next question to Mrs. Umi Retnaningsih.
I already wrote in the chat.
Oh yeah, you already wrote. Okay. Yeah, distribution and marketing are main issues for low and middle entrepreneurs in Indonesia. What Warung did to solve the problems. Okay. Directly to Miss Nuzul Solehah and friends to answer these questions and to respond to Miss Parinia Puradamayanti suggestion. Okay.
Thanks for the questions and the suggestions from Miss Parinia. We will note about your suggestion, but we go to Ms. Umi question first. Thanks for Ms. Umi. We think that this problem is not solved yet because through a warung, they only could fulfill their household needs, but they can increasing their household welfare. So the income is not increasingly increasingly, but they just could fulfill their household needs. So they daily need only. As feminist experts say that the role of women as treasures of the family can actually mean the loss of women's autonomy. So could I elaborate my answer with in Indonesia, because I mean here is perempuan justru akan mengalami seperti yang dikatakan oleh Miss Farinia tadi, bahwa sebenarnya posisi perempuan sebagai bendahara keluarga itu justru melepaskan mereka dari otonomi mereka ketika pendapatan mereka itu hanya yang sebenarnya tidak cukup tapi harus dicukup-cukupkan. So that's the point here. So we agree with your question. Woman here it's not increased with this daily activity, and this pattern is still trapped them in this development problem. I hope my patient could answer to Mrs. Umi.
Okay. How about Mrs. Umi?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Umi and Miss Nuzul. Yeah. One more question, yeah, but short, yeah, Miss Irza.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a main problem from very long time, that is limited access of women in market or public space was interpreted that women should have job by enter the entrepreneur, become seller, because they still can maintain the household, like Bu Farinia said. My question is, what is the main actors from PKH or especially from Iwarung? Is it come from local women, or it is the program from government? Thank you.
Okay, directly. Yes,
actually, it's program for government, social ministry affairs, but the actor is we put the local actors here, and they have scheduled to maintaining the stall. So they don't work every day because they have a schedule, so they can do another work in the other day.
Thank you, Ms. Nuzul.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nuzul and friends. Okay, we will give a virtual applause for their presentation. Okay, we still have one more presenter by Angga Unita Kirantika. I don't know, male or female.
And female.
It's female, yeah, because Angga is a male name, yeah. I don't know that you are
it's
a woman.
the stereotype, Indonesian stereotype.
Indonesian stereotype, okay. The title is Trapped in Virtual Connection, a case of trafficking for Indonesian girls. Oh, it's very interesting topic. You have 10 minutes for presenting and 5 minutes for question and association. Okay, screen is yours.
Thank you, moderator. I would like to share my screen. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will, can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my? Okay,
clear.
Okay. Okay.
But that's conclusion only.
Yeah. Please. I think my presentation got freezed, and I will try once more. Okay. Okay. Well, I will present my paper entitled Trapped in Virtual Connection. This is the case of trafficking for Indonesian girls, and I will start this presentation with the introduction, why I should put this topic or this issue. Because the occurrence of human trafficking in Indonesia targets children and adolescent women as vulnerable and group whose society is less knowledgeable, poor, and difficult to get access to working industries, so they tend to be easily persuaded. And this is also researched by another researcher or previous previous research before, and I want to participate on this issue because this issue still seems like an iceberg because the number of the human trafficking cases is slightly more than reported and recorded today, especially during pandemic COVID-19 in Indonesia. So my research background. Yeah, sorry for this inconvenience. Okay, I will continue. So my research background is about the number of the human trafficking cases through the use of social media, which rising toward the use of information technology too during the COVID-19 pandemics in Indonesia. And because before social media touch human trafficking trapped them by using manpower agency in Indonesia. This is for labor purposes, and labor migration as domestic worker approach is the fastest way to gain workforce and make money. And then I found that Facebook is mainly used during the trafficking life cycle, including recruitment, advertising, abuse, business operation, and etc. During the trafficking experience. And I want to know how about this phenomenon in Indonesia, which is involved children, teenagers, and women victims. I apologize because I think it's more convenient to use this. Okay, so my research question is become two things. The first one is how social media is used to connect and recruit women trafficking in Indonesia. And the second, how the trafficking process in exploit Indonesia women. So for these cases, I took the Indonesia women to Malaysia as our neighborhood country, which is, I've seen this is a lot of experience women put in a surface, but we have to digging up into the trafficking, and yeah, that's why I want that's why this research focus from Indonesia to Malaysia, and based from the data from the Indonesia Manpower Ministry, we showed that the most favorite destination for Indonesia women and girls are also Malaysia. So the literature review from this research I took from the Manuel Castells about the social network, and the second is I tried to elaborate with the gender aspect. So I put the digital gender concept from Fike at Fritzen and Foka about she told about the interdependent origination or shared becoming of the new social practices and gender roles around the new uses of digital technology. So my research is using qualitative research. This is quite half ethnographic research because I also involved into this research and doing migrate from Indonesia to Malaysia during the pandemic, and also I continue with the phenomenology approach because during the pandemic we got a restrict for travel and for research purposes. So there were 7 in-depth interviews conducted with participants that had engaged victims that trafficked online amidst a COVID-19 crisis and 2 online brokers. So the research year until this year on June. For the phenomenological approach, I'm doing by Zoom and recorded online meeting. All participants were asked the same series of questions and then transcribed. Were using line and codes were identified and collapsed into the theme. And this is the social demographical informant from my research. As you can see that they are the informant are still in a productive age. I mean, she's still very young, range from 17 years old to 25, and they are comes from spread of Indonesia, from East Java through Nusa Tenggara province. And then I would like to continue my research into the findings, why they are joined into the virtual in social media. Because from the informant, they already said that the reason in using Facebook, especially as everyday need in social media, it's divided on the four themes. The first one is about the friendship, the second is the new networking, the third is promising job, and the last for the self-existences. So that's why we can easily understand why girls or people in Indonesia are usually joining and having account in Facebook. And Facebook become technology, and it has a larger role in trafficking, which allows some online broker or traffickers or perpetrators to be able to select the potential youth in Indonesia without meeting face to face. But they only can search by the profile on the Facebook, and everything will be appear. And the transition from the messaging to meeting a trafficking person is becoming less prevalent, from providing information until giving promises for young women, especially comes from the rural area in Indonesia.
You have 3 minutes left.
Yep. Okay. And about the labor force recruitment, the traffickers focus on meeting needs of vulnerable youth by understanding their condition, about their economic, education, and psychosocial. An online broker exploiting them by filling the void and using that to transition to the relationship into one of the control by involving in today's work in Malaysia and specify the informal work sector for them. And this is the circle about the online trafficking in Facebook for Indonesian girls. That starts from the Facebook, and then the potential girls post photo to the profile, so the traffickers can comment on the photos. Then online broker continue to the Facebook Messenger and the WhatsApp. And this is another evidence, and the research findings about the trafficking dimension is for Indonesian girls. It involved 4 things. The first one in economic, it included poverty, wages, and remittances. And the second is culture, about the patriarchy, religion, and social norms, about being women and being a girl in Indonesia. And then involved into the technology, we are movement to a working agreement, recruitment, and then about the psychosocial in emotional and affection. So the roots on online trafficking process become the recruiting the youth, and then the doing or having short procedures and the reserve ticket by the broker, online broker, and they don't have a contractual work, and then picking up the traffickers in a melting pot, and then the online broker will give them to the employer. And then some Indonesian women, girls, they are facing unexpected experience in Malaysia, such as a document forgery, unpaid working, a lower salary, then the working not in accordance with the contracts, overtime working, and also the violation. And so the discussion goes on about the from the social network. by Manuel Castell's theory, we can also know about the Indonesian girls are believe information which provided in social media easily without any rationality. All information perceived as the truth. And the second is global social communication power are seen along the way for trafficking cases in Indonesia from the connection until the recruitment process. And then the global social network also make the global digital communication or the fundamental source of power and counterpower in roles. Okay, I will wrap it up into the conclusion. The conclusion is the Indonesian girls are still vulnerable in operating social media as technology, and then Facebook social media plays a role, and then trafficking case are occurred due to lack of power in communicating needs and high desire, and then the cyberspace also provide humiliation, exploitation, and violation for women. Thank you very much, and yeah. I'm apologize for my overtime due to the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Angga Unita. Yeah. Okay, you are now in Korea.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. It's very nice now in Korea. Okay, we have now maybe 3 minutes or less. Yeah, because in 3 minutes we should be back to the main room of the conference. Yeah, we have 2 women here raise the hands. First is Miss Varinia Puradamayanti, short, strictly to the point, and then Miss Umi also, yeah, short question, please.
Oke, hai Angga, annyeong.
Yeah.
Long time no see. Oke. Singkat aja, jadi pakai bahasa Indonesia biar cepet ya enggak ya. 1, kenapa Facebook? Yang aku tahu sih sekarang orang banyak berpindah ke Instagram. Why Facebook? Oke. Kedua, karena disuruh sikat. 2, cara trapnya itu bagaimana di Facebook itu? Apakah si calon korban ini dia posting foto, kemudian yang komen dan menawari adalah para maklar-maklar itu, atau memang si calon ini masuk ke circle-nya? Jadi trapnya itu di mana? Itu aja sih. Terima kasih, enggak.
Can I answer directly or I have
to wait, one more.
Okay.
What about family members and local society's roles in preventing and solving women's trafficking?
That's another research question, so I have to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, the second question, Ibu Umi, yeah. Ibu Umi?
Okay.
Oh, she's already writing on the chat. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I thought that comes from the moderator. Okay, I will answer in bahasa too for Ibu Farini ya, Mbak Arin, Anyong Mbak Arin. Oke, untuk pertanyaan pertama adalah kenapa Facebook? Ya karena dari semua informan mereka dan juga perpetrators mereka menyatakan bahwa penggunaan Facebook di tahun 2019-2020 itu masih menjadi media yang paling mudah untuk apa namanya media sosial yang paling mudah digunakan dibandingkan dengan Instagram gitu, karena dari fenomena media sosial yang beragam di Indonesia, Facebook menawarkan banyak kelebihan terutama pada messengers yang kemudian dia terkoneksi dengan apa namanya dengan Instagram juga, tetapi pada beberapa remaja yang mereka tinggalnya di Indonesia Timur, mereka menjadi lebih familiar dengan menggunakan Facebook dibandingkan menggunakan Instagram, begitu. Itu alasan kenapa mereka menggunakan Facebook, gitu. Kemudian yang kedua adalah penggunaan Facebook itu lebih di handphone lebih ringan dibandingkan dengan menggunakan Instagram karena Facebook ada Facebook Live. Itu alasan yang pertama. Dan yang kedua adalah pertanyaan kedua mengenai bagaimana cara perempuan-perempuan ini masuk ke dalam lingkaran trafficking, yaitu mereka posting kemudian di komen, setelah itu mereka mendapatkan info di messengernya, setelah itu di messenger mereka akan dikumpulkan di dalam sebuah grup khusus, dan itulah awal mula dari terjadinya trafficking. Dan saya juga termasuk salah satu orang yang masuk ke dalam lingkaran tersebut untuk mengetahui bagaimana sebenarnya jalannya trafficking dari perempuan-perempuan gadis-gadis Indonesia ke Malaysia. Jadi sebenarnya menggunakan dua platform. Yang pertama adalah Facebook dan yang kedua adalah WhatsApp. Begitu. Okay, and the second question from Ibu Umi, what about the family member and the local society roles for these issues? The family members, they only thought about my girl or my daughter, they are involved or participate in became a migrant worker in Malaysia. So yeah, they don't pushing anything, and they already know if their daughter or the family member back from Malaysia to Indonesia. So the roles is really needed for the social integration migration.
Okay, thank you, Miss Angga. Because due to limit time, yeah, we should return back to the main room of the conference. Yeah. Okay, but thanks for sharing with us. Give applause for Miss Angga Unita's presentation. Okay, I'm very lucky here to have a various kinds and brilliant studies of research, yeah, held by the incredible, mostly by women, yeah. So women is the pillar of the advance of the country. Good or bad, the future of the country depends on very much on how the woman play the role in the national development and social life. By having this theme of panel session, of which the theme is reconfiguring gender and intersectionality, we can have a broader knowledge and exchange about the information based on the result of the research held by incredible presenters in this panel session. So thank you for your participation and attention in this panel session. See you again. Hopefully we can meet directly in Niluring someday. So we return back to the main room of the second APSSI International Conference. I'm Faisal Erija. Have a nice day and good morning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye. Okay, thank you everyone. See you again in the main room.
Thank you, Bang Faisal.
Okay, thank you, Bu. Okay. See you.
Okay, left ya.
Okay, we can leave the break room.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Faisal.
Thank you, Miss. Okay, see you again.